Hello, everyone, and welcome to another match preview on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy, and I'm your host for today's show. We are set to enter match week 7 in the Premier League this weekend, and the fixture that we are previewing today is Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. And as Stiller Black would say, surprise, surprise, Liverpool are playing another midday kickoff fixture yet again. Despite Liverpool travelling to Italy to face Bologna in the Champions League midweek, Liverpool are booked to face Crystal Palace in another away fixture in a matter of 2 days. So no rest for the wicked, as they say. But for me, this is taking a mick, as other teams across Europe, they would definitely get their fixtures alterated in order for them to face a team within their domestic league at home rather than facing back-to-back away fixtures. But hey ho, that's the fixture list in this country, and I don't expect the FA to look out for Liverpool when it comes to running games, as Liverpool tend to make the most money when it comes to television rights. But let's put all that background noise to one side and focus on what's going to happen on the pitch. We'll start with analysing our opponents, and that is Crystal Palace. Let's just say the honeymoon period has definitely been over for quite a while, probably before it even begun, as last season Palace were in fantastic form under new manager Oliver Glasner. But so far this season, they've been a shadow of themselves. In the Premier League, they are still searching for their first win of the season. They managed to attain 3 points on the board so far, and those were 3 respectable draws against Chelsea, Leicester City, and Manchester United. But the big question is, why has it all gone wrong? From an outsider, I don't think the system that is currently being deployed suits the crop of players that they have in the squad. Currently, they're playing Lerma as a left-sided centre-back. Yes, I know there's some signing. Chadi Riyad would start in that position, but he's out of an injury. You've also got Chris Richards, who's also not available. Holding is fit, but he's had a falling out with the manager, so don't be surprised if he's shifted out the door in the January window. So injuries in key areas has definitely played a part with their poor start of the season. And you have to also consider the loss of Anderson, who they sold to Fulham. He was certainly an experienced player in that back line, and I think they are missing that type of leader in the defensive area. But also looking at the squad now, the signing of Kamada, when it first happened, I thought, you know what, good signing, good player, but analyzing how they play right now doesn't make much sense. He's an attacking midfielder by trade, but he's been asked to play as a right winger. For me, he doesn't have the agility or pace to cause havoc in that role. And I know he used to play under Glasner for Frankfurt in the Bundesliga, where I think he played right-sided and he played left-sided at times. But for me, he's not a spring chicken anymore. In those days, like 2-3 years ago, he had a bit more pace about him. He's not that type of player anymore. So for me, that doesn't seem to have been a good signing on paper. They also signed Eddie Nketiah, who we all know is a striker by trade, but he's been utilised on the right wing as well. So signing players, but then playing them out of position just seems a bit pointless. So they haven't found their form this season, and the obvious reason, goes without saying, is that they haven't replaced Michael Olise. He was sensational under Glasner last season, scoring some top-notch goals. When you take that type of player out of the system or out of the team will end up suffering, as they don't have anyone in their squad who's remotely as good as Olise on the right wing. But it's all good and well saying that they don't have the players and they need to find those players in the future. The current situation is that they need to find a solution in order to get some points to the tally. So we'll see how it goes for them in the coming weeks. Liverpool, on the other hand, they've had a great start to their season. 5 wins out of 6, with 1 surprise defeat against Nottingham Forest. Now, if you include the cup games for Liverpool, we've won 8 out of 9 games. The best start by any debut level manager in our history. So that's something, that is credit to Arne Slot. And speaking of Arne Slot, there's something about him that I really like. One, in terms of his communication skills, the way he talks to the media, the way he just talks in general, It's pretty much how the team play on the pitch. He's very calm and very composed, but at the same time, he's also got a bit of ruthlessness about him, where he doesn't accept mediocrity, doesn't accept second best. He wants the ultimate best from his players, and if they aren't showing it or they're not fitting to his style of play, he'll take them out the firing line without any hesitation. Now, that's a sign of a true winner. That type of mentality will take you far in the game, and hopefully Liverpool can benefit from that, especially going into this season. Some fans and pundits are still discrediting Liverpool as potential title contenders. I've always said that Liverpool will be challenging, but we don't mind not being centre of attention. We'll let the football and the points tally do the talking for us this season. So we'll move on to the team news and see which players are available, and then I'll present my predicted lineup. So for Crystal Palace, Chadi Riyad, Chris Richards, and Doucouré are not available for this fixture. Rob Holding, as I mentioned earlier on, he's frozen out from the squad due to falling out with the manager, and it doesn't seem like they've patched up anything right now, so he won't be available for the squad. And Mateus Franca, who was one of their big fee signings last summer, he was on course to play in this fixture after returning from a broken rib. But unfortunately, he looks like he's back on the sidelines once again. For Liverpool, Darwin Núñez, Jota, and Robertson should be in contention to play in this fixture, as all three players returned from illness and injury against Bologna midweek. Chiesa, for me, doesn't look like he'll be available for this fixture. He hasn't trained much with this team earlier this week, as he picked up a muscle injury. And as I mentioned in my previous show, I don't think he'll be risked, even if he was available. I believe they'll probably rest him with the international week coming up, and I think he'll be available for the Chelsea game, which takes place on the 20th of October, so in a couple of weeks' time. So what we'll do now is we'll present the predicted lineups, and we'll start with the home team, which is Crystal Palace. Now, I've got two variations, so I'll present the team that I feel like Oliver Glasner will play, but then I'll also present a team that I feel like he should play based on the players that he has in the squad. So let's do the actual predicted lineup that I think Glasner will end up playing. So we'll start with the goalkeeper, Henderson. He's probably been the only player that's actually lived up to the bill in terms of their ability. He's produced some good performances. One in particular, I think, was the game against Forest, where he was really good. And the United game, United game really stood out, actually, where first half he was unstoppable, and then Onana matched him in the second half. So end-to-end stuff in terms of goalkeeping there. Do you know what? It's not even a 4-3-3 system. They'll be playing a 3-4-3. So we've got Lacroix, who is a signing from Wolfsburg that they made early in the summer. Good player, all-rounder, good on the ball, very strong. Not the most sort of imposing defender from an aerial challenge. I remember him actually being linked to Liverpool a couple of years ago, and that was one of the reasons why fans weren't too impressed with his sort of stats, because he wasn't winning a lot of duels in aerial situations. So, but in terms of his all-round gameplay, I think he's a good defender. Interesting signing. Let's see how he falls in terms of a back three. He predominantly plays in a back four, so different sort of request to play him on the right side of where he'll probably have to cover a lot of ground. So his pace would definitely be utilized. He's a pacey defender anyway, but I think he's better in a more central role. But I think Glasner will probably end up playing on the right side on the centre back position based on what I've seen recently and the team selections that has been done in the last few fixtures. In the middle, there will be Gay, who I'm sure we all expected him to leave Crystal Palace at one point. There we go. Linked with Newcastle. Newcastle made God knows how many bids in total. I think I was doing my transfer talk show in the summer, and on a weekly basis, it was literally a new bid being placed all the time. I feel like they end up making 4 or 5 bids altogether. and they still couldn't get overdone. The highest bid, I think, came up to 70 million, and they still rejected it. So let's see if that, if the Palace regret that or not, remains to be seen. But that's a lot of money for a defender. And on the left side, he's been made into a makeshift centre, and that's Lerma. So that's the predicted back three that I think Glasner will end up playing. In terms of the right side, it'll be Manuz, who's a decent player, to be fair. Mitchell on the left side. Wharton, someone that's been very highly regarded. A lot of Liverpool fans wanted him as a signing for us early in the transfer window. Don't get me wrong, I do rate the player. I think he's a very talented player with huge potential. But the fee that was, rumored to, should I say, tagged with his name was just way too high. I think it was in the region of like 70, 80 million. So for a young kid that just joined Palace in January, hasn't even played a full season in Premier League, that would have been a crazy amount of money to pay for a player. But some fans may disagree with that one. Some fans actually wanted him as the main signing in the window. Good player, but not at that price, if you ask me. And then alongside him, I can see him playing Will Hughes, very experienced, left-footed centre midfielder as well. So would add a good balance in that midfield. And then up top, I think he'd probably go with Nketiah based on his scoring ability. I know he's not naturally a right winger, but he may come a bit more infield to cause havoc. So I think that's the player that Glasner may start on the right hand side. Eze is a shoe-in, so he will definitely start in this fixture if he's fit and ready. And then up top, it will be Mateta. They don't have Edouard anymore. He's gone out on loan to Leicester City. So expect Mateta to start in this fixture. So this is the predicted lineup that I think Glasner will start against Liverpool this weekend. Now, if I was Glasner, I would switch it up a little bit because I don't feel like things have worked with this personnel. And I feel like they do have one or two players that can come in and just change it around a little bit. So what I would personally do is, where do I begin? So Gehi, I'll put on the left side. Lacroix, I'll place in the middle. And on that right side of that centre-back position, I would place Chalobah, who they've signed on loan, I believe. I don't think it was a permanent deal in the end, but on loan. So I'd bring him into loan. I know he hasn't started many games, but he's more than ready to play consistent games for Palace. I thought he was one of the top performers for Chelsea in the last couple of years. Whether he started, whether he came off the bench, I definitely feel like he has good pedigree and is more than good enough to play in the Premier League. So that would be the backline that I would personally go for. I feel like as balanced, the crew in a more central role suits his ability. Gay left-footed and as balanced on that flank, and then Chalobah, who's played even as a right back for Chelsea at times, but as a right-centered centre back suits him. So I feel like that centre back pairing of the three gives them more stability in the back line. And then in midfield, I'd take off Will Hughes and I'd bring on Lerma, allow him to play in his more natural position, left-footed, so as balanced to that middle of the park as well. So that would be my midfield four. And up top, not that I don't think he's a decent player. I'd actually drop Nketiah and I would bring on one of their summer signings, Ismail Assar. Now, Liverpool fans will remember he caused havoc for us all those years ago, playing for Watford, and up ruining our unbeaten record that season as well, from what I remember. So I feel like if I was Glasner, I would definitely bring on a player like him who is an out-and-out winger, and he would literally touch that byline and try and cause as much havoc. Also provide width to stretch the Liverpool defense. So I think for this fixture, this is the type of player you need to bring on. Not makeshift strikers that are put out on the right wing, or attacking midfielders that don't have the speed to beat a man. Uh, so this would be the formation that I would play. This is the lineup that I would go for. If you're a Palace fan, please chime in and let me know what you think. Even if you're not a Palace fan, drop a comment and let me know what you think of this lineup, because I feel like this lineup would definitely cause Liverpool a bit more competition. I feel like it could be a lineup that, you know, they might be able to get a point at least. So, yeah, drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. Let's move on to the Liverpool lineup now. So, 4-2-3-1 formation, which is customary now. So, in goal, Alisson, no rotation required for this fixture. I'm still starting with Trent Alexander-Arnold. I know he's got some negative responses from certain corners of our fan base, but I think that's due to rumors circulating that he's had discussions with Real Madrid. He didn't have the best of games against Bologna midweek either. I feel like we're just creating agendas for the sake of it now. Honestly, yes, he didn't have the best of games, but these things happen. He's been playing consecutively. The last 2-3 games he actually played the sort of, not the last game, but the games before that he played 90 minutes. So, you know, he's still finding that kind of rhythm within his game. And obviously now with the games coming thick and fast, you have to rotate your squad a little bit more. So for me, just because he got substitute doesn't mean he had a terrible game. I just feel like at that stage of the game, we needed a bit more energy on that flank, and he just wasn't able to showcase it. So I don't know. A lot of fans have kind of turned their head towards him and pictured him as someone that is a bit of a problem now, which I don't think is the case from what I can see. I still feel like there's a player there who wants to play for the club. Obviously, whatever happens in the future will happen. It is what it is. It's not something that we can control or predict, because we don't know what happens behind the scenes. Let's be brutally honest. So I would love for Trent Alexander-Arnold to remain as a Liverpool player for years and years to come. But if it doesn't, it is what it is. We've got to deal with it. Don't get me wrong, I'll be annoyed and frustrated with the owners, of course. But I feel like to add this kind of notion that he's already made his mind up and he doesn't want to be here, or he doesn't want to play for the badge, I feel like it's nonsense, straight up. So if fans have that kind of belief right now, I don't know where they're getting that viewpoint from, because I don't see that on the pitch. I still see a player that really wants to do well for the team. So got to stop creating these narratives, you know, for our own players. Let the media and the non-Liverpool fans do that, because there will always be that sort of talk. But within our own fan base, I'm not buying that. I don't agree with that. So, but in terms of this fixture, I think Trent will start. I know some fans are saying Conor Bradley should get a start. Not for me. On the left side, I'm going to go for Robertson, and in the middle of the defense is, of course, our captain Virgil van Dijk, and then you got Konate as well, who's had a decent couple of games himself. Midfield, just a gravy train right now, or Gravenberch, who's just picking up man of the match awards like it's nothing right now, which is a beautiful sight to say the least. McAllister alongside him, providing the perfect balance in that midfield. Salah on the right wing, he's getting the goals, he's getting the assists, but one thing that's for me that is letting him down is his final pass. He needs to really do better there. There's been so many moments in the last 2-3 games where his through ball or his just final pass just lacks that pace or lacks the accuracy. It's becoming a little bit frustrating. So for me, he needs to do better. Obviously, he's doing well in terms of getting the goals and the assist. You know, the one that he got against Bologna was sublime, that pass to McAllister. But generally, I feel like he needs to really improve, because there's been so many chances where they're not even the most difficult passes, but he's not able to execute them the way he wants to do it. So something he needs to work on. I'm sure I don't need to tell him that. That's something I'm sure he's working on in the training ground. On the left wing, I'm going to go for Diaz. I would have gone for Gakpo if we had another match coming up in the next coming days, but due to it being an international week, I think you can afford to play Diaz and then restart when all the players return from international duty in a couple of weeks' time. So for me, Diaz claims his place in the team, and then in the number 10 role, Szoboszlai, who had a much better performance. For me, he really stood out in that Bologna game, and I'm hoping he continues that form into this fixture and adds some goals to his tally. He got an assist for the Salah goal, but in the number 10 role, you are expected to get goals as well. So for me, an area that he needs to make sure he's consistent and make sure he's contributing for the team. Up top, I know Darwin Núñez has returned from illness, but I'm still going to go with Diogo Jota up top. So that is my starting lineup for Liverpool. Drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. In terms of score prediction, no surprise, I'm going for a Liverpool win. And I think we'll get a clean sheet as well. I'm not too phased in terms of what Crystal Palace are producing right now. And I feel like it's probably a perfect time to play them. But having said that, Palace are one of those teams where they might not be in good form, but against Liverpool, they always get a point or nick the odd win, especially at Selhurst Park. So we definitely need to make sure we're on top of our game, start the game aggressively, and don't just expect it to be a walk in the park because they're 18th in the league. League form or league positioning kind of goes out the window, especially when it comes to away fixtures. So Liverpool definitely need to make sure that they're on top of their game and make sure they're not giving the ball away or giving away silly goals, especially in the opening 10 minutes, which we have been guilty of doing this season. So in terms of my score prediction, I'm going for a 2-0 victory for Liverpool. And I believe the goal scorers will be Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah. So that is my prediction. I see we've got a few comments here, so we'll go through the comments and then we'll close the show. Daz, big up Daz always. He says, big up Ozzy, same as Wednesday, but for me, but Jota for Darwin Núñez. That's fair enough. Philip says, big up Ozzy. And then Daz and Philip returning the big ups themselves. And then Daz says, do you know any more on Kier's Ozzy injury? I mean, Armstrong mentioned it today. He said that he was expected to train today. I'm not sure if he ended up doing it because the press conference happened around 10:30 and the training session started at 12. So I'm not too sure if he was able to train today. But even if he did, the way Armstrong communicated to the press, it sounded like even if he trained, it would be where it has a very slim chance of being on the bench. Definitely not starting, that's for sure. But in terms of being a squad player, it sounded like it would be doubtful, even if he was fit and ready. With his injury record, I just feel like it's a risk to have him in the squad right now, especially with the international break coming up. We might as well use the time off for the next 2 weeks. I'm not sure if he's been selected for Italy, but if he hasn't, use this next 2 weeks to just regain form and just continue working hard in the training ground. And that's what you can want from your players. And once the players return from international duty, look, we've got a tough run of fixtures. We've got Chelsea, then we've got Red Bull Leipzig, and then we've got Arsenal back to back. So we'll definitely need all the players from the squad, and he's certainly one of them. So for me, there's no worth or any point in risking Chiesa for this fixture. I feel like we have enough in the locker to get the win. So for me, yeah, even if he's fit, I wouldn't put him in the squad if I'm being honest. Thinking of the long-term picture more than anything else. Daz has gone for a 4-0 victory for Liverpool. Fair play. Daz asked, what colour will we be in Aussie? What colour will we be in? So I can see us wearing the white top, to be fair. That is our third away kit. My guess would be the white top. I'm not sure officially if they've announced that, but I think the white would just make a bit more sense. But yeah, I do quite like the white top. So yeah, it would be good to see that from the players. And also in terms of your goal scores, you've gone for Salah 3 goals and Jota. If Salah gets 3 goals, that'd be amazing because I've got him in my FPL team. And Philip says 4-0 as well. Big up you two. Very positive today. I feel I've gone a bit too modest with my prediction there. Jota, Bray, Salah, and Nunes from the subs bench. I'd love to see that. Yeah, big up, guys. Big up for your score predictions there. And that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. In terms of upcoming content, I will be doing a watch along for this game tomorrow. The match takes place from 12:30, so I'll be online from 12:20. So feel free to join in. Let me know in the chat what you guys think of the game. And then later on tomorrow evening, I'll be doing a match reaction show, possibly around 10 p.m. And it's also a calling show. So if you'd like to come on and have your say, the floor is yours. Come on, express your views on the game, and yeah, if you've got questions to ask me, feel free to ask away, and then we can chop it up. And then that'll be it in terms of this week, and then we'll have our match week 7 review show on Monday evening, and I'll be doing some FC25 content as well coming up next week. So with the international break, Miles will make use of the new game, and then yeah, we can do a Liverpool career mode as well, so it should be fun. But that is it for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.